How's it going? Welcome back. This is like episode 3 or some shit. And as you can see from the bottom of the bar, I have managed to get 30 levels. No armor. No cheating to get them. It's all been mob killing out in the wild. So I am now going to set up my enchanting area here in the corner of the library and do a level 30 enchant. And seeing as how I've managed to go this long without dying, I think I'm going to put on some armor. And just for anybody that doesn't believe me, I'll show you my stats in a sec. Here we go. Options. It's not in options. Statistics. Number of deaths, 0. Mobs killed, 123. How many times crazies died? I don't have that many fingers. I don't even know if I got that many toes and fingers. Oh, shit. I'm giving her a lot of crap about that today. There's another chest plate. I have a lot of chest plates. Alright, so let's make our bookshelves. Don't have to make our enchanting table because we got one in here. We do need to make these. Oh, those are beams, you dummy. That will so definitely not work. We need planks. And that gives me 11. That'll be 12. So that's 13, 14, 15. Okay. What are you doing here? Stop arguing with me. There we go. Alright, so I don't think I can leave the carpet in. I think the carpet actually blocks the enchanting. I'll have to see here. So let's see. What are we gonna throw in here to enchant? Let's do our chest plate. Now, because we're playing GT6 only, asterisk Twilight Forest, we have no other armor other than the vanilla armor or the armor from the Twilight. So the best we're going to be able to do here is going to be diamond, night metal maybe. I don't know if night metal is actually better than diamond. No steel armor, which really sucks. Let's go with... we got fire protection 3. Oh man, it's got thorns on it. I hate thorns, because that just damages it more. Alright, so there's our armor. I'm a good hillbilly. Don't need any shoes. I'm fine with just having that. I didn't get any boots yet. I gotta recycle some to get some, which I'll probably do at some point since I got an extra chest plate. Which, I got 2 extra chest plates actually. And an extra helmet. There's the extra chest plate I have. That I didn't know wasn't over here. With the rest of them. There we go. Alright, so in the last one we were talking about needing graphite to make steel. Well, before we can do any of that, we actually need dark ash for making iron out of black sands, limonite, hematite. Hematite being the only one that needs something extra, which is it needs calcite as well, which if you want to go through that, you can actually get calcite from marble or limonite, or limestone. And I had something really rare happen, or at least I feel it's really rare because I've never had it happen before. I actually had a skeleton that I killed drop me this arrow. I have never had a skeleton drop me an arrow that wasn't regular. This is a bronze arrow. So I have a special arrow, and I'm not going to shoot it. I'm going to save it. So, since I need dark ash, the only place to get that is from coal or lignite coal. So I'm going to, I've already done a little bit, going around here looking for more small ores that I missed. And hoping to find, I think there's one right there. I gotta go look. Find a coal vein that's at least partially in the sand. I need it to be in stone, but I want one that's at least partially in sand because one of the very first things I will be making is a sifting table. And if that is bauxite. That is not what I want. And if I can find sand ores, I can actually process them in the sifting table and double a good chunk of them. But I will need some stone ores before that. Definitely want to grab that lead. I just broke my boat. I break more boats. Hey, look here. This is awesome. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. That's black granite. I thought it was black sands.
Hey, Bear.
Oh, holy shit. Hold on a minute. I'm recording, and you're in your car. Turn you down. Okay.
Okay, hi. Is that better?
Yeah, that's so much better. I forgot I turned you up earlier when you were at home, because you were quiet. Alright. I am trying to find some coal. So, approximately every piece of dark ash you get, I do believe it's every, I'm trying to think in my head right now if there's any exceptions. But basically, the way the purifying works is every dark ash you have is one piece of iron. I'm not really sure why that happened that way, but that is the way it works. If you do magnetite, it's 3 to 7. If you do limonite, it's 1 to 4. So that's 1 dark ash to 4 limonite, whether it be brown or yellow. And then if you do hematite, I think that one is 5 to 1. To be honest, I never use hematite. Because I don't like messing with the calcite stuff. So I might be wrong about that. I know it's either 4 or 5.
Yeah, as far as I know, you hold off on processing that till later.
Yeah. And the only issue with that being, hey, I have some orchids. The only problem with that being is everything that used to be regular iron has been changed to hematite. So all the iron you find laying out here in the gravel and the sand is always hematite. And it used to be that you could find small magnetite, but those have been removed and changed to hematite as well. So now the best thing to do is use black sands for magnetite. Magnetite is what I always use because it's a better ratio. 7-3 is much better than 4-1. Are these... Let me see, what are you? You are cranberries. Not really what I'm looking for. I want my currants. Let's see. No buffs yet? Ain't telling me what they are, but I definitely have speed. I think I can eat a few more. Okay, speed and jump boost, I'm alright. As long as I don't get to speed 3, jump boost 3, I won't die of sugar intake. And this will help me move around a little bit faster.
Yeah, there seems to be a timer on it too.
Mm-hmm. There is. As soon as the buffs go away, you can eat more. It's just basically about gorging yourself.
So the moment you see your food bar go down, you could eat a couple and be fine?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Haha, here we go. Coal vein. Now, this is something that's kind of annoying, is these rocks are up here instead of being sand ores. I've discussed it with Greg, and he says there's nothing he can do about it, unfortunately. It's
yeah,
just...
see the little sand piles and pools of water generate after the ore gen.
Well, this is rocks above the sand. And instead of being sand ores, they're rocks. And instead of being like sandstone, they're, marble. Because there's a marble patch right below here. And over here on this side, there isn't a marble patch. That's why there's actual sand ores. Somehow, if there is a patch of the Gregtech stone below the sand, whatever ores were going to spawn there are going to spawn as that stone rather than sand. And Greg says there's nothing he can do about it. He's tried to fix it. Alright, so now that I've done this the circly way, let's see if I can get my butt back home. That way I can find my way back over here, because I am doing this without a map. I might actually have to make a Minecraft map at some point. I am looking at F3 every now and then to take a picture of it. The old school, before we had maps way of doing things, or the vanilla way of doing things. Take a picture of your coordinates so you remember what they are, and writing down the coordinates to veins, but I can't do that right now, because if I do, the two people listening will find me and hunt me down. Because they keep wanting to test these silver arrows out on me. And I don't think they need to. Alright, so I need to make a left-hand turn at Albuquerque. Got it. Thank you, Bugs Bunny. I think I can remember that.
Have you used your levels yet?
I have used my levels. That's what I did at the beginning of this video. I finally got to 30 levels. With 0 deaths.
Well, then there's not much point in killing you now.
That's right. Although, I now am allowing myself to have armor, and I'm going to try to get all of my armor enchanted with 30 levels without dying as well, but that is a second-hand thing. I'm just glad I got to 30 without dying. Although, I did have a few creepers that tried to have something to say about that. Since I live next to this dark oak forest, I keep having creepers just kind of pop out of nowhere. I had like 3 of them blow up the other day. Right behind me. Luckily I heard them sizzle and took off. And we will have a tutorial on all these beautiful trees. Probably next. There's one tree I don't have, and I'm trying to talk this lovely dude into giving me one. Because he happened to find one. So if I
you want to stop on my base, you can collect the sapling.
Okay. I'll figure out where you live.
About 200 blocks northeast of spawn.
Okay. That's not too hard to find then.
Yeah, you can't miss it. There's this big multicolored tree.
So I'll get one of them, and then we'll do a tutorial talking about the different trees and the different things you can get from them. That'll be probably the next video that comes out after this one. If I manage to get my butt over there and get the stuff. Alright, so I do have some...
I can bring it to you.
As long as you leave the silver arrows at home, I don't have a problem with you bringing them to me. Now that I got my 30 levels, I trust you a little more.
Okay, I'll just bring my silver sword instead.
Yeah, you can leave that at home too, thanks. Alright, so I got a little bit of coal here. I got 2 crushed and an actual coal. I thought I had some... There we go. Some coal dust. I think I might have some over here. There's some more coal. There's some regular coal. Alright, so now that I got my stuff enchanted, we're going to work on getting dark ash. Couple different ways you can do that, which is just cooking up some of the tiny piles of stuff that you find laying around, which I threw 2 copper in here, crushed copper. Now, if you throw in... Fuck. It wasn't crushed, it was fucking dust. Alright, so now that I got my enchanting done, we're going to work on getting some dark ash. There's a couple different ways you can do it. Some people actually will just take their burning box and sit it with no crucible, boiler, or anything, and just burn coal or lignite coal. I choose not to do that because to me it's wasteful. You're wasting the potential heat that you could be using for something else. But I've thrown 2 copper dust in here. They're impure copper dust I got from digging up a small ore. And you'll notice that if I pull these out of here, I'll get 18 copper scrap. Now, if you use actual crushed ore, when you go to pull it out, you will get stone scrap. So if you're using unwashed ore, always make sure you pull the first 9 out. And then you'll have copper under that. And there will be a little bit extra. You'll see here that I'll get 10, so I'll have an extra nugget of copper. So I'm actually going to leave that extra one out, put these 3 in, and I'm going to cook up this copper. Along with that, I also want to cook me up either a piece of zinc or a piece of lead, so I can make me a wooden bucket. So I need to find me, you can use bismuth, copper, I do believe you can use tin as well. This one here is bismuth, bronze. So there's copper, I think that's the tin there. Need to click on that, there you go. Yeah, that's a tin. And then the pink one here is zinc. And you have lead, regular bismuth, which should be this one. Yep. And then you have brass. And there's the bismuth bronze. So that's the different wooden buckets you can use. They're all basically the same. Just depends on which plate you use. And I don't want to waste my copper on it, so I'm going to use lead. Now, another thing you can do is if you go out exploring, find a fort, find some dungeons, sometimes you will find coins. And if you look, each one of these is worth 1 nugget. So once I get done with the actual stream, I will cook all these up and that will get me some more dark ash. So I need some form of coal in here. I'm going to use these crushed coal at the moment. So we'll throw them in. Some matches that I found around the dungeon here, or the fort. You can also make the fire starters. There are 2 different ones that you can make. You can either make one out of dry grass, or you can make one out of dry bark. Dry bark coming from the dry logs that you find out in the world. And dry grass we already talked about. Just cut grass with a knife, leave it lay out, and it'll dry. Alright, so there we go. Now I gotta be very careful not to touch this crucible or the mold, as it will burn me. If I can find it real quick, this has got to get to about 1400 degrees. So I should be okay here. And I have checked my F3. I am not under the ocean here. So I should be fine with doing this. So I can actually get up here and be able to see in it. I'll also take these 2 out so I can get back down. Now, once I find a nice place to make my final base, I'll have a much better place to do this, but for right now, this works. One other thing you definitely want to do is have a piece of sand or gravel. Cobblestone will work as well, but this you can break with a shovel or a hand if you're not in adventure mode. Alright, now that those two are cooked up, I don't have a thermometer, so I don't know how far off I am of having it done. So I'm going to throw one more of these in, only because I have plenty of other copper that I can throw in to cool it off. Might as well throw them both in there and be done with it. And now I'm going to have to make me a fire starter, because I am out of matches unless I have a matchbook around here. Let's go ahead. I've got plenty of dry bark here. That's why I picked it up while I was out looking around. So we'll make us a fire starter. Now these have about a 50% chance of lighting. And don't click on a chest with them like that. Really dumb, because you waste it. And I do it all the frickin' time. Alright. So let's go ahead and use these this time. And there we go. And as soon as I see the liquid in there, I'll put this down and shut it off a couple seconds after. That way I got time for it to pour. And because this is a lead burning box, it is very slow. Also, you do not want to fill the crucible with a lead burning box, because if it gets too dense in there, it will not cook. So only do a couple at a time. You should attempt for either a bronze or a steel burning box as soon as possible, because they are much, much better on heating up. You see the lead is 16 heat units a tick at only 50% efficiency, where the bronze is 24 at 75% efficiency, and then the steel is 32 at 70% efficiency. So for a little bit more efficiency, you get a little bit better rate of speed. So now we're going to put that down there. You can see the smoke particles coming through it, so that means it's still heating. So I'm going to throw a couple coins in there, cool it off a little bit, keep it from heating up too quickly. And now I should have waited long enough. Pull this one out, pour the next one, and now I'm just going to dump these in. Alright, until I see that it's cooled back off. This is actually the most dangerous part of doing this, because at this point in time we don't have smaller units of fuel, and we don't have pincers or hoppers to pull the items out for us without getting burnt. If you pull the items out too quickly, it will burn you, just like if you touch the crucible or the mold. Alright, it looks like, yep, our sand is definitely done. Try to sneak in here and grab it. But we have our 2 copper plates. And now what we can do, because lead is so low of temperature, we can throw it in now, and it should pour from the residual heat that's in the crucible. Now give it a second and let it get cooled off. There we go. And now we're going to make a bucket. Go ahead and put our copper plates in here for later. And grab me some wood. What did I do with the beams I had? I had some already debarked wood. There it is. Debarked wood gives you 3 instead of 2. Excuse me. Alright, so there's that. Hammer, and that gives us a bucket. Now, wooden buckets can only do certain things. This will allow us to milk a cow, pick up water. Water being the main reason why I'm doing this, because I want to make a water drop right here. And I have to have a bunch of different things, and my inventory's full, as always, as everybody on the server will tell you. So we'll just throw these over here. And now we don't have infinite water here. We have finite water, so I'll have to come up here a few times, 4 to be exact. But I'm going to make me a water drop, so I can just jump in the top. And then I'm also going to make a ladder, so I can climb up instead of climbing these stairs. Alright, so we're going to jump off here. Now, this is seawater. We can pick it up, but we can't place it. If you notice, it does no placing. And if I remember correctly, I'm kind of stuck with it. There's no way of getting it out of the bucket. Other than, I think, like a canning machine or something like that. There is one thing we can do with it. I know everybody's like, really? Why did you have to pick up the salt water? Now we got to go all the way back down these steps again. Well, you know, it kind of happens. So, you can put the seawater, I do believe, into a mixing bowl or a bathing pot. A mixing bowl is very cheap to make. Very easy. It's one of the very early game things you're going to need. Because I have the support, won't actually have to make one, because I have one. Bathing pot as well is pretty cheap and easy. There is my mixing bowl. This is the full version. Now I can put it in there, and now I have my bucket. Now I do, if I remember correctly here, have a way of saving myself time, saving you guys from watching me climb those annoying steps over and over and over. I do believe I have 2 buckets of water, and I do. So what we're going to do here is throw this fire starter in here, grab one of these, and take it out here with us. These were in the corner. This was the water thing in the corner that Greg made. So now I can just sit this here, put a tap on it, and it'll give me nice, clean, fresh water. And there we go. Now I have a water drop. And what's a water drop if we don't test it? So let's try it out. And like I said, I'll put a ladder in so I can just climb up the ladder. It'll be a lot better than climbing these spiral stairs over and over and over. They do get quite annoying. Alright, so here we go. As long as I land in the water and not hit one of these edges, it'll be perfectly fine. Alright, so we've started making our dark ash. We've got that's regular ash. I must have had something else in there. There we go. There's my actual dark ash. So I used 3 of those crushed, which gave me 3 small piles of dark ash. So I burn 1 more of them, and I will have the makings of 1 iron ingot. And I will, like I said, work on getting some dark ash from these small ores that I found and the copper coins that I've looted out of here and things like that. And next time we're back here for a regular episode and not a tutorial video, I will actually make my first iron. So, have a good one, everybody.